I got another one. I got another one. To be fair, I think I know why I'm getting the copyright claim. I don't know exactly why, but I think I have an idea why. So I'll make some adjustments. I'm still going to do a decent outro like usual, but if I still get one, then now I know why. So let's just get right to the video. All right, you heard the man. No intro today because YouTube already wants to get in my head. But anyway, what's up, guys? This is Master J15, and we are back. This is going to be part 3 to talk about the NBA. Today, we're going to be talking about the Southeast Division, the ever-changing Southeast Division, I believe. Maybe not. Nah, okay, yeah. Hornets in Miami are fighting for it. No, Atlanta, Miami. But this is a very interesting conference right now. You got you got a terrible team, you got two mid teams, and then you got the Wizards and Magic, which I don't know what to think about them. I mean, I would say they're below average. I mean, Magic are playing better than I thought, and then I don't know. The Wizards are just the Wizards. I don't know what to talk. I don't know what to say about the Wizards, but yes, we're going to be talking about the Southeast. If you guys did not catch the first two videos, the first one was about the Atlantic Division. The last video I made yesterday was about the Central Division. So be sure to check those videos out. And then, like I said, the next three are going to be covering the West. So let's get into the content. All right, so I actually didn't mention this in the intro, but I didn't mention the order of the team. So in terms of places, so right now you got Miami, Atlanta, Washington, Orlando, and then the Hornets. I just had to look that up just now, the order, because those teams are kind of just all kind of well. I thought the Hornets. Hornets are terrible, but yeah. So the first thing we're gonna talk about is the Miami Heat. Funny enough, I have a Miami Heat hat on right now. I don't know why. I'm not even a Heat fan. I think it was just because Southeast. They were in the Southeast, so I kind of saw it. I'll do the same with the Thunder because I have a Thunder hat in there too. So, shit, the Pacers. I have a Pacers hat. Right? Anyway, I'm sorry. Let's talk about the Heat. The Heat are, when I looked, they were the 24 and 21. That because I literally just looked at this, so the records are pretty fresh in my head. But they're finally over 500. Like their first like 35 to 40 games was just so up and down, up and down. You like take what I said about the Knicks when I said they like sometimes they have weeks where they just up and down instead of just being up, maybe down occasionally, but just mainly up. That was the Heat. The first like 35, 40 games, they just up and down, up and down, up and down. And yeah, you can claim some of that to injuries because it feels like every time Miami has a game, Jimmy's out. If it's either the Jimmy, Tyler Hero, Bam, Kyle Lowry, Victor Oladipo, Caleb Martin, Duncan Robertson, Gabe Vincent. I'm just naming guys off of my head. They probably got so much more. Like those are the main guys. Right? Those are the top 8 guys that I believe. Like it just seems like they can never have a full healthy team. It feels like it's at least 2 guys that are out. And when that team is healthy, when they're together, they're hard to beat. AKA last year when they won 4 games, 53 games, won the East, and got themselves to the East Final. They're hard to beat. So yeah, you can accustom injuries to it, but also you can just accustom it to just being just bad basketball because they've had some games. I think the Miami Heat. I probably watched the most of the Miami Heat kind of by default on League Pass, just more because they with the way they're scheduled, they be scheduled early to play around like 6:37, something like that, right? So they play early, so I'm always kind of deep by default watching Miami games. But I like watching Miami games, like I said, because they got the talent, but they be losing games. Like they just be losing games straight up. So, but right now they're in a decent position, 24-21. I think they're not in the play. They're not in the playoffs. I think they're 7th, so they're in playing. So they're in a perfect position to just trend upwards. And if they do, then they'll get there. They can pass up the Knicks. They can really pass up the Knicks. Maybe that's just it though. I think Philly, because I think Philly's in 5th, yeah. So I think everybody up 5th and up. I think those spots are all solidified. Like I said, unless one of those teams just go on a massive just slide, like how the Nets could, um, because the Nets have lost 3 in a row. How do you lose to the Spurs? Ben Simmons, get your shots up, bro. But yeah, Miami really they just got to gain consistency and be healthy. And if they can do those two things, Miami will be fine. They'll make the playoffs. But they'll likely will be one of the bottom four. And like I don't want to say it's guaranteed they can play in the play. Like I said, the Knicks are in that 6 seed, so the Knicks can just continue to just be how they are here. They can just continue to be how they are all year. And if that happens and Miami's consistent, then I can see Miami taking that 6th spot. So, and like I said, they have a really good team to really go on a hot streak. So maybe they could catch a Cleveland or a Philadelphia. We'll have to see, but they're trending upwards. They're trending upwards. Just continue to do that, and they'll be fine. So, yes, that is the Miami Heat. Anyway, let's talk about the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks are 500 right now, I believe, 22-22. If they did not win or lose another game, the Hawks they're very disappointing right now. I would say they are in the top 5 teams of just disappointments this year. You got the Hawks, the Bulls. There were other teams, but I'll have to like really think about it. But those two are for sure in the top 5 of like disappointments. And for the Hawks, like okay, so unlike the Bulls, right? The Bulls had injuries, and the Bulls got out to a really slow start. The Hawks got out to a hot start. Like, if I'm correct, I believe the Hawks were responsible for the Bucks. I believe the first 2 losses. I know for sure the Hawks ended the Bucks like 8 or 9 game winning streak. I'm pretty sure that did happen, and I believe they played like 2 or 3 days after that. And I think I have to look at the schedule, but I'm pretty sure they beat them but Bucks 2 losses or against the Hawks, and they got out to like a 9-2 start, and I was like, man, they keep this up, they're gonna run away with the East, like they're gonna be a 60 win team this year at this rate if they keep it up, but they have just been on a slide, like the last 30 games, they just not play well. In fact, I believe they just gone on it. They were on a 3-game winning streak, so. They were 19. I know at one point they were 19-22. So you're trying to tell me that they lost 20 of like 30 games? That ain't good. That is not good for the Hawks. And on top of that, Trae Young's been injured. I know Trae Young's been out with injury. And also, I've been seeing stuff with like Trae Young in the front office. He's hearing stuff about that. Like, I guess they're not agreeing on some things, and there was even the talks about him possibly even being traded, which will suck for DeJounte Murray because he just came over from the Spurs. So you trade Trae Young, you're putting DeJounte Murray somewhat in the same spot he was in San Antonio. Now, I would say the talent level on the Hawks of the role players are better than the Spurs, but the expectation for the Hawks for when Murray came out was for them to be a playoff team, maybe even a championship contender. For sure a playoff team, like a playoff team that's like right in the thick of things. Playoff contender, again, they're like the Cavs. They would have to prove themselves they could get there, which they could. Like I said, Trae is one of the clutchest players in the league, and DeJounte Murray is a good sidekick for him. But I hope that doesn't happen. Like I said, let's just hope the Hawks can continue. Let's just hope the Hawks can just trend upwards. Like I said, they're not too behind. They're not too far behind the Heat. The Knicks are in that 6th spot. So I don't know. I already mentioned the Cavs and the Sixers. I'll just be repeating myself. But let's just come on, guys. Yeah, just get it together. Get it together because they started the season hot and they have been really cold since. So, Atlanta, get it together, please. All right. Next up on the list is the Washington Wizards. I don't know what to think of the Wizards. The Wizards are just here playing basketball. Like, they're not terrible, but they're not good. In fact, the way early in the season looked, it looked like they could be headed for like tank bowl territory. Like, it was pretty bad. But I think they had like a 10 game losing streak at some point, but then of course the Suns had to be the reason why the 10 game losing streak snaps. But I mean the Wizards they're like I said, they're third in the division. I don't know if they're in the play-in or not. But I mean, like I said, the goal, I have no idea what the goal for the Wizards are. Like I said, you got Bradley Beal, you got KP, Kuzma. So they got a decent team, but in terms of, in terms of like when we're talking about the other teams that's ahead of them, those teams are better. The top five in the East are championship contending teams. Miami was also supposed to be a championship level contending team. The Hawks had those aspirations there. So you got 6 to 7 teams who are either contenders or believe they can be, and then you got the Knicks who are there, and then you just got the rest of those teams in the East. So, like I said, the at most the Wizards could be like top 8 in the East, but they're not a championship contending level team. And Bradley Beal isn't playing on the same level like he did like 2 years ago, and he's putting up like 30 a game. So I guess Flight Reaction was really right. Bradley Beal really was putting up some fake stats, but and then with KP, and KP has played better since he's got on the Wizards. I think he may actually get his shots because I guess with him playing with Luka, so he's so ISO heavy, it will limit his shots. That's why he kind of complained about that. I guess Bill is not like that. I guess, or they just giving him his shots. I don't know. I don't watch a whole lot of Wizards games, but I just know that they are just not as good as the other teams. So, in terms of how their season can play out, I mean, if they could get to about 40 wins, 41 wins, get to the play-in, and even get to the playoffs, I would consider that a decent season. But it's all about them just continuing to just trying to add another piece to the puzzle so they can actually be something again. Because like I said, they're not rebuilding, but they're not tanking. It's just I don't know. I just think they're just not good enough to be in the top 6 or 5. So I don't know. The Wizards are just kind of just like in no man's land right now. So however they finish the season, is how they finish the season, and then next season let's try to take some steps to get better, get to the top upper echelon in the East and to championship level contending. So that is the Washington Wizards. All right, next up on the list, we got the Orlando Magic, the everlasting rebuild. Like this team has not been. I mean, they've had seasons where they've made the playoffs. Like they've been like the 7th seed, I think, from like 2019 to 2020. They were like all right, but they have not been like a top seeded team in the East since Dwight Howard. And that's a long time. Dwight Howard left the Magic in 2012. 2012, he left the team almost 11 years ago. So they've been in a rebuild for like 10 years. And you know what? Now it looks like it can finally pay off because they got a lot of good talent on that team. You got I forget the brother's name. Paulo. You got Paulo. I'm just gonna call him Paulo because his last name was really hard to pronounce. And then you got Bobo. You got Cole Anthony. You got Markelle Fultz. You got because I've actually watched a few Magic games this year. They play all right. Who else they got? I mean, you got older guys like Terrence Ross, Gary Harris, but there are other guys I'm definitely forgetting. Jalen Suggs is on the team. Franz Wagner, Mo Wagner also on the team. So they got some decent pieces. They got cornerstone pieces. And Polo, he looks like the real deal. He gonna win Rookie of the Year this year. He looks like the real deal. And if he just continues to get better, which he will, he'll get better. He'll be, at his peak, he could average like 30 points, 8, 9 rebounds, 5, 6 assists. He can be very, very lethal. And he's a big guy. I think he's like 6'8", 6'9". So between 6'8" and 6'10" for sure. So he's a big dude. So he's definitely his game is definitely translated well to the NBA, and he'll get better. So all the Magic have to do is just not screw up and like lose them, like in the situation like with Shaq, like the same situation they did with Shaq, like 30 years ago, but that shouldn't happen because the rules are a little different now. But they got something. They got something there. It literally looked like early in the season that they were like in that tank bowl category because they were playing bad, and then I think at one point they ranked off like 9 straight wins. I'm saying like, whoa. But the thing is, they're still nowhere near the playoff picture. I think the Knicks are still like 7 games ahead of them. So again, they would have to get on like another hot streak to really get in the playoffs. So I think for now they're shooting for playing. If they get into the playing, I think that's a successful season because like I said, they can still get to the playoffs. So if they get to the playoffs, good season. If they don't, it's not necessarily a bad season. It just depends on how many games they win. They win if the Magic get to like 35 wins, I think that's a great season. Playoffs or no playoffs, and then if they get like between 30 35, that's still I would say that's still a W season. But the Magic are trending. The Magic are definitely trending up. So I definitely want to see them. I want to see them. So I want to see where they go. I want to see Paulo continue to just get better, and then we just have to see who in that sea of guys can really emerge and be a second. Because it doesn't look like with the way they're playing, they may not draft Wabanobi or whatever the brother's names coming in the draft. So they may not draft him. So or maybe they do some free agency. We'll see. But they got a core group of guys who can definitely play and they'll get there. So that is the Magic. I'm looking forward to watching a lot more Magic games. I've been watching a good amount of Magic games this year. So that is the Magic. And yes, just do better. And if you guys get to play in, great. So just keep continuing to trend upwards. Oh, okay. Well, let's talk about possibly one of the worst basketball teams in the NBA. Probably is up there in that disappointing tier as I talked about earlier. Let's talk about the Charlotte Hornets, the Michael Jordan ran Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets are just bad. Like they're just terrible, and the thing is like from how they played last season, like it looked like things were going upwards. Like you said, you got LaMelo who is going to be your superstar. You got Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges is also could be on that realm of superstardom. He has to get to that all-star level, but he could get superstar could be there if he better his game. He's so athletic. And they got Terry Rozier. You got Kelly Oubre. Um, I think that might be Mason Plumlee on the team because I know there is a brother, and then you got PJ Washington, and then they just Gordon Hayward's on the team still. Like they got a good collection of guys on the team. Like, and if they get structure, they could be a really dangerous team. But they have been nothing but that. Their defense is terrible. They can score, but their defense is terrible. Teams can just do whatever they want to them, and it doesn't make it any better that LaMelo has missed like 25 games this year with his ankle. He's probably played just over 20 games now. Even when he plays, they're not good. So this is definitely a disappointing season for the Hornets. Like they've got to get it together. And with the way their record looks, I think right now they are 11-35. 11-35. You gotta be kidding me. That's they're on track for about a 60-loss season. Like I expect my Spurs and the Rockets to get that, to get that loss record. But the Hornets? No. I expected the Hornets honestly. With the way the East looks, I still expected it to probably be in playing, but last year they were like ninth. I expected them to probably be like 7 or 8. Be one of those teams. Win their first game, get in, but they'll probably be a first round exit. And then guys just have to continue to develop. But this is bad. This is really bad, and they gotta really get it together. Like even if they turn it around, get to like a 31 season, 35 win season, it's still disappointing. This is a disappointing season for the Hornets. I mean, they can win, get to 30 games, 35 games, something like that to prevent it from being absolutely just terrible, but it's still going to be a bad season regardless. They have regressed from last season, and it's a shame because they got good talent on the team. Now, it also doesn't help. Now, to be fair, like I said, Miles Bridges did have the whole thing over the summer. We're not going to get more into that, but he had to think over the summer, so that's why he's not on the team. And of course, LaMelo has been injured, so that's two 20-point scores that they don't have. But still, like but still, like I don't think this team is that bad to the point they should be losing 35 games within the first 45 games. Not good. So, yeah, not really giving the Hornets announcers to go off much with them being so bad this year. So actually, that's not true. The brother, he is hype regardless. But that is the Hornets. Just I don't even know I don't even know what else to say. Just don't lose 60 games, I guess. But it'll probably happen. But that is the Charlotte. All right, everybody, that's going to be the end of the video today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Next video, we're going to be starting on the West. What division did we start on? We're going to start on the Southwest. The Southwest. So we're going to start on the Southwest, and then, like I said, the next 3 videos, all West. All Western Conference videos, all division videos. So stay tuned for that. I think for the next video, I'm gonna do something a little different. The setting's gonna look a little how it is now. It's gonna look a little darker. Really, I'm gonna really let the lights that I got hung up in the place. Really let those shine, and then I got some stuff in the back. So we really gonna see. I'm gonna see what I can do. To make it a little different. I think I might do that for all of our West videos. So stay tuned. Like I said, like, comment, and subscribe. And I am out. Enjoy the outro. Peace.
I'm a ghost.
ACR Productions, you feel me?
Done already?